Hello, hello. We are back with Lavender Shadows after that touching and moving scene with the August family. We will now probably do something ridiculous. Who do we want to go back to, Marco or Marguerite?
Well, Emily says she knows what she's doing, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if Seth knows something,
I don't know what I'm doing,
Okay.
so go ahead.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Seth and Marco the same do not know what they are doing.
Yeah. Do
Okay.
you want to go talk to Darcy? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, I want to be back at my house.
Okay.
My humble abode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would like to gather all of the dishes that he had brought over and cooked food in, because at this point we have consumed all of it, and would like to actually wash the dishes. I will do it myself. I will not force Isabeau to also help me do the dishes.
Good job, Mom. That sounds like you would usually force your 5-year-old child to help you do the dishes.
What? Is that how it was phrased? What? How crazy that you would think that. So I gather all the dishes, and I would like to walk over to Darcy's house and kind of like knock on his door.
There's not an answer. I mean, nobody comes to the door.
I kind of like check around back to see if he's in the yard or something. Well, then I guess I just take the dishes back and go see what Isabeau is up to and try to build my relationship with her if this isn't going to work. I'm not that committed.
Okay.
If he doesn't answer, he doesn't want to answer.
Like you could literally just knocked on the door one more time, and like there would have been an answer. Like,
if I knocked on it
is how these sorts of scenes
and
work.
said hello, would he have said like, okay, then I guess I knock on it, and then after a second go, hello?
I'm just trying to frame the scene here.
I mean, hey,
You're just like,
Marguerite
I
is
give up.
not that committed to mending this relationship.
Sure.
She has one idea, but like, not that committed.
Yeah, and you hear Darcy say, "Who is it?"
Your neighbor?
What do you want, Marguerite?
To return your dishes and apologize.
There's a long pause, and you eventually hear soft footsteps, and then a lock turns, and the door opens, and he looks at you, and he says, "There's nothing to apologize for," and he reaches out to grab the dishes from you. "I'm sorry for bothering you."
And I just kind of go, no, there is something to apologize for. I was really sensitive about my relationship with Isabeau. Somebody earlier that day had called it into question and just felt like everyone was attacking me, even though I'm just trying to do the best I can.
I know you are, Marguerite. For what it's worth, I think you're a fine mother.
Thanks. It's just hard sometimes.
Of course. Well, your apology is accepted. And then he turns to leave, but it's obvious he's still I'm not gonna see you again. I'm not gonna talk to you again.
Yeah, and now Marguerite's like, ugh. Okay. Me as a person, I'm like, this is so awful what Marguerite's just trying to say to him.
I am really worried as to what's going to happen next.
No, it's not that bad. Okay. But she's just like, it's hard while I'm working. Is there any way that, for Isabeau's sake, you could at least still teach her and help her?
That's a roll. I think that is persuasion.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a straight persuasion.
I know. I'm like, what else could I'm like, there's nothing I can add.
Luckily for you, he has a will of 3.
Oh my gosh.
Which makes this roll technically possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else.
Yeah. You gonna spend your last persona?
Nah, boy, I don't want to die if I get hurt. I'm just hoping I get something where I can use my fate instead.
Yep.
Okay.
Good luck.
Here we go. Thank you.
Oh, that's not bad. You got a 6. You can spend 1 fate
I got a 6.
to roll 1 dice, or 2 fate to roll 2 dice.
I'm a roll 2.
There you go. Pretty good chance here. There we go. You only 1 success. Awesome. Wow. It continues to be good. So mark that difficult test and the fate you spent. And
oh, that was a difficult test. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he looks at you and he says, of course. She needs both of us, doesn't she? Even if things aren't going to work out as I would wish them.
Sounds like we're like getting divorced or something. Like we have to agree to co-parent this child.
That's what it's like for him.
I mean, that's kind of his brain is viewing it this way, yeah. Yeah, but he basically says, of course.
Thank you.
Just nods. You did like the food.
Oh, yes, it was very good.
He smiles slightly and then says, have a good night, Marguerite.
Thank you. You too.
And then he closes the door and takes his dishes back. And
Marguerite, like, slowly walks away and making sure she's, like, either fully in her house or out of eye line of any window from his house and does, like, an excited, happy victory dance. Like, yes! Still got him.
My heart hurts for Mr. Darcy.
Poor Mr. Darcy.
I know, I feel bad being like,
so pure and wholesome.
Can you still babysit my child? Even though I have stomped on your heart?
Well, do you want to go talk to Xanatos next? Go have the stroll in the park?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we got to go stroll. I forgot already. Mm-hmm. I was too excited.
Yeah, so I think that's probably what you're doing next, right? Like, and you're like, hey, can you watch my child now?
Oh, no, I want to bring Isabeau with me.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so you guys are strolling through the royal parks. And we just see you guys walking, and Xanatos, looks at you and remind me, what was exactly the note that you left on? That was like,
he doesn't want to give me any information because he doesn't know me at all. So I was like, so why, like, then just get to know me and then you can tell me this information.
Right, yeah.
And he's like, I'm married and have 6 children. I'm like, I know, we can just, like, talk and get to know each other.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I think the first thing he says to you is,
"Do you guys hear frogs?"
It's yeah.
Okay, I was like,
outside my window. I can probably close it.
Sorry.
I didn't think
you guys are in the Royal Parks. There's like a pond.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
I mean, it's totally fine, Carly. It's not a big deal. I was just like
so confused.
Usually Zoom like filters out sounds like that, so I didn't think that would actually be coming through.
Yeah, it was very slight, but yeah. He says, "It's nice to meet you, Isabeau. I've heard a lot about you. Did you know that your mommy loves you very much?" And Isabeau kind of looks up and says, "I guess." And Xanatos just smiles and he looks at you, Marguerite, and says, "What a lovely lass." A lovely girl, probably is what he says. And he asks, "Marguerite, what do you aspire to in life? What do you want more than anything else?" I found that's the easiest question to actually get to know someone. And I don't really want to hear the lame excuses that align with society's expectations for you. What do you want? If everything else was stripped away, if you were given your heart's desire, what would it be?
Ooh. That's how much does she reveal to Xanatos of her true awful self?
Especially in front of her child.
Yeah.
She could be up playing in the garden.
That's true.
Are
you like walking with Isabeau, like holding your hand, or?
I mean, if she wants to like go run.
Yeah, maybe she like hears some frogs
around. She can.
Yeah, she like hears some frogs and like goes out to like catch one.
And I just, as she goes, I'm like, "Don't get your clothes too dirty." Oh, okay.
And Xanatos looks at you and says, "Don't worry, you'll learn how to handle them eventually."
I want to dance.
You want to dance?
And perform.
He seems really amused by that statement. You're not entirely sure why.
That's all I offer.
Yeah. He nods to himself. And what is it about dancing that so enthralls you? The art, the accomplishment, the fame.
I think a little bit of each.
A pragmatic and realistic response. I asked you.
Is this now where you give an answer?
Right.
If we're getting to know each other.
Yeah, his eyes twinkle with like suppressed mirth. And he says, "I want to save the universe, Marguerite. A simple goal. A simple desire." He's just like,
is
on
that
the
for
this entire conversation, he's just been on the verge of laughing.
And I'm trying to, she's just like, is that for altruistic reasons? For power? For accomplishment?
A little bit of both. A little bit of all three, rather, he says. I would like to think mostly the altruism. But you can't save the universe and not be at least a little famous. Marguerite, what do you know of Maxence Bechard's death?
I know he was poisoned, right? I think I know that.
Yeah.
I heard that in gossip or something. At the opera, while I was there, and that we still don't know who did it.
I suppose that's what everyone knows. Do you want to know something?
Why am I?
Well, he says.
Yeah.
Do you
do
you want to know something that nobody knows about Maxence Bechard's death? Something that I think only I have discovered so far.
Please don't tell me that you killed him.
No. Maxence was an eccentric fellow, and I don't agree with him on everything, but I wouldn't kill him. Going back to the altruism thing.
The answer there would then be yes. I would like to know what you seem like you're going to tell me.
I happened to be around when Maxence was in his box. I wasn't in the box, mind you, but I could see up there rather clearly. And it was strange. The man who brought him the bread and the wine was the thing that was poisoned. Did you know? When he gave him the elements and then stepped away and the men thanked him, the servant made a strange gesture. I'm not entirely sure the meaning of it myself. Haven't been here long enough. But it's a gesture I think others would find familiar. And he just smiles at you like, that's it. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I see this game that you're going to play. Oh, he did a gesture, but I'll wait until the next time to show you.
Oh, I can show you the gesture. And then he makes some sort of like weird hand sign. Still not entirely sure how to make it work for me, but...
Make it work for you? What do you mean?
He smiles again.
You are altogether infuriating.
I know. Dallas is always telling me that.
Is that your wife, I'm assuming?
Oh, no. I would hate... I would love to hear you say that in front of him, though. It would make him very uncomfortable. He like the whole time, like in between pauses, he's just like, calmly like strolling, like looking around, watching Isabel play with the frogs. Like he's just having like a normal conversation in a normal day.
Marguerite is so annoyed because there's nothing. He doesn't care about her flirting with him, and that's the only way that she knows to get information.
Yeah, and I think he looks at her and says, Marguerite, there's a reason that I am talking to you and not one of the other three. I think there's something important about you that I don't understand what. The other three, it's obvious. All three of them have a brain. A good one on their shoulders.
I just like look over, like immediately stop and like look over at him, give him like a.
Oh! I didn't mean it like
what
that.
What did you just say?
I meant.
Ow!
I didn't mean it like that. Gosh. You'd think universal communication would iron out those sorts of mistranslations, but no.
Wait.
Hmm?
Universal communication?
Oh, so you do have a brain. I'm just making fun. You have an intelligence about you, Marguerite, but it's more of the cunning kind. You don't have a scholarly mind. That's what I'm thinking of.
I kind of like like give him a little like half glare, but also like it's true.
Yeah.
Like I'll take that at least.
And yeah, I think he says, I want to give you that tidbit of information because I think it will lead you into whatever else is happening here. And I think that's important. My old friend here, and he like kind of tugs on his cape, helps me figure out these sorts of things. When things are important and when they're not. When we first met, I didn't mean to offend you by implying I didn't understand why you weren't important, like I assumed you were insignificant. That's not how I meant it. I think there's a complexity and a depth to you that I can't see. And I usually can. So I'm perplexed. On the one hand, you seem like a pretty straightforward person. You connive, you scheme, you get what you want. But I think there's something else. And I think it's related to your answer from before. Because despite all the fame and riches that one may accrue from being a performer, you don't go into that line of business unless you love it. Unless you truly find joy from dancing. And I think that's the key. He's almost talking to himself at this point. I think that's the key to all of this. And if I could just understand the metaphysical components of that, then I could break it down and... Hi, Lucy. My doggo has returned.
Hey, Tara.
Yeah, and he's like almost like muttering to himself now.
Hey.
Yes, what?
So what does that all mean?
What does what all mean?
Your cape helping you, and the key that I love dancing. How does that connect to anything about murder and gestures and universal communication?
It doesn't really connect to that one very much, but... Tara, oh my goodness. Yeah, you're fine. I know. He says, oh my goodness, dog. What is wrong? Hey, what?
And Marguerite says, did you just call me a dog?
She wanna go see her friend. He says, Marguerite, I think it will only work if you find it out for yourself. I've seen people force this, and it never ends well. The fantastic has to be unlocked and not stolen. At least if it's to have any meaning. You haven't happened to see a bald man in a black gray cloak, have you? Just by chance.
Have I? Who knows? I do keep a very close eye on men around me.
That is very true.
Would I have?
Make a circles test?
Sure. What would
let's see, circles.
Everything be?
Yeah, circles. It's is gonna be Up 4. Yeah.
I mean, this is impossible because I'm not adding anything to it, but unless I get 6s. Nope.
You can mark a challenging test, but you don't need it.
The answer is no.
Yeah. He shrugs. He's like, I didn't think so. Well, if you happen to see him, let me know. He has something that he has something that doesn't belong to him. Let's just put it at that.
Poison.
And how would I go about contacting you?
He smiles. You seem to already know the establishments I frequent. I'm sure we'll bump into each other again.
Okay, that was one place, one time. Don't make it out to be like I'm following you everywhere.
As long as you don't make it out to be like I'm following you everywhere.
I'm not making that out to be anything. That's just the truth.
Yeah, he nods and he says, I'm trying to think of where he actually would be staying right now. I think he just gives you the name of like some sort of like fancy inn. And he's like, I'm staying at this place. You can find me there most of the time.
Well, then I guess I'll be off to unlock the unknown. And like do a big eye.
Mm-hmm. If you
through my dancing.
Yeah, he smiles at you and he says, if you happen to see any of the other 3, pass on that tidbit I gave you. It might come in handy.
Who are the other 3?
And he's like almost like about to walk off at this point. Like it's obviously you're about to like part ways sort of a thing. Like you come at like a crossroads in the park. And he takes a step and then turns back. And he says, you've already met one of them, the detective. I think he's honestly the one who should know that tidbit more than anyone.
Yeah, you think?
Which tidbit? You gave me like 4 different things.
The one about the murder, Marguerite. Obviously.
Sorry, I'm not a scholar like the others.
Can you at least have enough of a scholarly mind to remember this gesture? And he like does the gesture again that the guy did.
I do a rude gesture back.
Perfect. That's the one. Farewell, Marguerite. I hope the joy of dancing serves you well. And he like does like kind of like backwards wave as he like walks off.
Okay, go and chase after Isabeau.
Yeah. Right now she tackled a young boy and is like pinning him down because he stole her frog.
Go Isabeau.
I walk over there and I go, Isabeau, what are you doing? Get off of him.
But Mom, he stole my frog.
Isabeau, that is not your frog.
Well, whose frog is it then? I caught it.
It's no one's frog. The frog belongs to itself.
She seems to think about that for a moment. Oh, and then the boy's like, "You're crazy," and like runs away.
I kind of squat down and I go, Isabeau.
What?
You can't just fight anyone who disagrees with you or does something mean or rude.
Okay, well, what should I do instead?
Well, you can use your words and talk to them.
But what do I say? I don't know how to talk to boys.
They're like anyone else, except maybe a little simpler.
Simpler, yeah. She nods at that. She's like, so use small words?
Yes.
But I did. I said, let go of my frog.
Well, those are not words to talk to each other. That was just yelling at him more like, and arguing versus trying to talk it out and solve the problem.
All right, that's a child rearing test. You want to teach your daughter a life lesson?
Yes, I do.
All right, child rearing.
What's the base
It's
of?
your will, which I think is 2. Let me double check. Yep, 2.
I think it's a lot, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's 2.
Any additional complications?
Nope. Oh, nope.
She's gonna fight everyone.
Yeah, she's like, that doesn't make any sense, Mom. Yeah.
We'll talk about this later. Do you want to keep on playing in the park?
No, I want to go home. I'm hungry.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Then.
And I think
I'm so close to being able to be child rearing skilled.
So, we cut back to Marco, and you've been waiting for a while. You know, this is technically like a flashback at this point. You've been waiting to get this records back, and the steward comes back, and he has like a frown on his face, and he comes over and he says, "Mr. Tisby, I've done some looking at the ledgers, and Tara, get out of there. Come on. It seems like your uncle is the direct line of succession here. In a strange twist of fate, he's going to inherit the estate. So I suppose I work for him now. And I guess that means that we're fellow employees?
That doesn't have any noticeable connection, though, to the previous one, though, does it?
Kind of.
Well, your uncle got half the opera house because Maxence died.
Yeah,
so
he owns the entire opera house
kinda.
now, and all of Maxence's stuff, besides the stuff that went to Joe.
That's true.
Yeah, and like the steward basically says like, I don't even really understand it. It seems like there was a much more directly related cousin that should have inherited, but he drowned in an accident a few weeks ago. Freak accident. Very odd. Well, will that be all?
Give me a second. A few weeks ago, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I might actually, does he have any more information about that freak accident?
He shakes his head. He's like, but I might know someone who does. And he gives you like the name of some other relation of both of them that was like there or knew someone who was there or something like that. You could follow up on.
Technically a relative of me too,
Yep.
then.
Distant, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then from there I'd probably go to there. I'd say, like, do you need me to deliver the papers to Bertrand? I mean, I'm staying at his opera house.
Oh, I suppose you could. I mean, I'll have to get all the. There's a lot more to get in order before I actually give him the papers, but you could at least let him know. Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll go to the. Where's the person that he recommended me to?
Probably staying in the city somewhere. On business, so on an inn or something.
Okay. Go find him then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you enter this inn, and this is like an inn tavern situation. So there's people like drinking and stuff. But it's like a higher class establishment. It's nobles, obviously. And you see a couple of random patrons just kind of.
Oh, what's the name of the relative that got murdered?
The relative that died in the freak accident.
Yeah.
Their name.
It's gonna make this easier.
Yeah, their name is. Let's see. Emery Bouveau.
Bouveau?
Yeah, the same last name as the original noble who just died.
Okay. Oh, right. I don't think I wrote that down.
It's actually spelled like that.
I don't think. What was the name of the first guy again?
The very first guy?
I don't think I wrote it down. Yeah.
Maxence Bechard?
No.
The guy who died this morning.
Yeah.
His name is. Oh, I put him in. No, where is he? Here he is. Lord Quentin Bouveau, played by Philip Boss.
Could you put that in the chat? I can't copy paste.
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Okay. Okay, so I go to the place to figure out about Emery's death.
Okay, yeah. You walk into this tavern inn situation. There's some patrons sitting in the lobby or whatever it is, the lounge area, drinking. You see a man in a red cape, you see the guy that you're obviously sent to find, a guy named Emery, and he is tall, lanky, finely dressed, has a side sword that he has leaning on this chair right now, and he's drinking with a friend or something. Yeah, you walk up to him.
Do I know his name?
The friend's name?
Yeah.
No, not at the top of your head. You guess you can make a circles test technically to know.
Well, would I have been given a name or
no? This is just some friend in the city that he's talking with right now. Emery is here on business right now. So.
Oh, I thought Emery was the guy who died.
No.
That's what I thought too.
Who died?
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought you were saying too.
Because I asked who's the guy who died. You said Emery.
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
I'm like, wait, I'm talking to a dead guy?
Yeah, you see it there. He's just a ghost.
That's the secret.
No. Sorry. The guy who died is Lavender Shadows.
Okay.
Name, bro.
Gotta change all my notes.
Sorry about the death.
Or no, sorry.
You're looking pretty good for a dead guy.
Yeah. The guy who died is Lavender, and the guy you're talking to is Emery. Yep. So many Bavos wandering around.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, two of them are dead. So.
That's true. Yeah, actually, there's only one walking around. The other two are definitely laying down.
So I go up to him and say, Mr. what? I don't know if
Sir Bouveau, probably.
Sir Bouveau, or something like that.
Yes, do I know you?
No, but I'm here. Look, so let's see. What's it? What did I say? So, it's like, no, but if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions. I'm investigating the murder of your relative. I don't know what the relation is between them.
Yeah, and I think he says, oh, which one?
I was actually going to say, your relative, Lord Quentin.
Ah, right. Yes, of course. Tragedy that. Just
yes,
heard of it this morning.
And from what I understand, it's not the only loss your family has had as of recent.
Yes, unfortunately, I lost my cousin Lavender a few weeks ago. Freak accident. Is that what you're here for?
Yes, I actually was curious to hear about it, to see if they might possibly be related. The steward of the house didn't know much about it.
Are you saying that Lavender was murdered? I was there, and he drowned.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I quite literally had no information about it.
Of course, yes.
I just heard freak accident.
Who are you?
So he
exactly.
Sorry, Marco Tisby. Put up my hand and
yeah.
I've been investigating a few.
He just kind of looks at it
I'm
not shaking your hand, Connor.
been investigating a few I can look around like mishaps that have been happening around Kennedy. Like, I'm not just gonna say like everything's happening right now.
All right. And what do you need from me?
I was curious to hear about the freak accident that happened to Leibold.
I told you I was there. It was a boating trip. We were. I mean, it was rather unimportant. We were literally going to. It was really silly. We were going to an island on the private lake that my family owns, and we were in a rowboat. And the fool, he was messing around. He was an absolute prankster, that one, and he tipped the boat. Now, I could swim, but apparently Leibold could not, and he drowned. I tried to save him, but unfortunately, I was wearing my sword, and I had quite a few trinkets, baubles on me at the time. It weighed me down. Haunts me to this day, the look on his face as he went under. And now I have another relative dead. It's a fine day to be a Beauveau. Of course, I didn't get any inheritance, but...
So you said Leibold, he tipped the boat?
He was making a joke or something. He was like, oh, I'm going to tip it. And I tried to tell him not to, but I don't even understand it. If he didn't know how to swim, why would he... Idiot.
Is that would he do that kind of thing often? Put himself in dangerous situations?
No, absolutely. But I assumed that if he was going to make some sort of joke about drowning, that he wouldn't not know how to swim.
So I'm writing all this down. Nothing seemed odd about him before the occurrence? Nothing that you would make you possibly think he did it on purpose?
That he killed himself?
Like you said, it's very strange to make a joke about drowning if you can't yourself swim in case things go wrong. I'm just trying to understand the situation. I did not know your brother. What brother?
Cousin.
I did not know your cousin. I'm just trying to understand the situation better.
Yeah, and I think he's like kind of like chewing on his lip a little bit, and you can tell there's something that he knows, but he looks up at you and he says, "No, that's everything I know."
Are you sure?
Roll time. Some sort of roll. I'm trying to think of what exactly would be. Probably persuasion. I mean, that seems like a pretty you're just like, this is in your best interest to tell me all you know. And you're not being
possibly persuasion with rule of law, and not necessarily murder-wise, but well, maybe. I don't know, because it's
the arguments
suicide. For those? Rule of law, because I'm like, if you're knowing something, you should really
right, yeah.
Like, it's like you might be helping with this investigation if you let me know. Murder-wise, I'm just saying because suicide is murder of self. So I'm like,
yeah, I mean, you could just be like he was. I know about these things. I'm a detective. Like, you can trust me. I need all the information I know to be able to determine if there's something more nefarious that happened to your brother. Yeah, I could see a case for either of those. And both, yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
Both? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 modifiers. I don't think streetwise matters.
I think just up 3.
I don't think... So I'm looking... I don't think inconspicuous would get me anywhere. I don't think there's a reason to be inconspicuous here.
It didn't sound like you were being intimidating, so...
No, I wasn't trying to intimidate him either.
Up 3. There you go.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay. Unfortunately, didn't need a routine, but you succeed. Yeah, and he says, I suppose he was acting a little strange before everything. He was... Well, we were at a ball the night before, and well, he was boasting to everyone about the fact that he was talking about how his cousin Quentin was old and had war wounds or something, and maybe he was going to die soon, and when he did, he would inherit everything. You mentioned inheritances, jog my memory a little bit, but the weirdest thing about it all was a couple of men who were listening to him. They were enraptured, and they kept pouring him drinks, trying to get him to tell more. It was a sort of wiry gentleman with spectacles and sandy blonde hair. I believe he was a merchant or a clerk or something. I think he was noble born, though. Maybe. I can't quite remember now. I had some stuff to drink myself that night.
Is his description match anything?
No, that doesn't sound familiar to you. Yeah. And he says the other gentleman who was with him was bald.
Facial hair?
No, he didn't have any. Clean shaven.
And I kind of described the rest of them and see if it sounds familiar.
Yes, that's the fellow. I believe he said his name was Desiree. Maybe Desiree Gilson. Desiree Gilson, I think his name was.
Can you put that in the chat so I can just... I was actually about to ask him if the description sounded familiar, so that kills two birds with one stone.
Why? Do you know this man? Is he involved in some other?
Give me a second. I'm trying to write down the. So one was just a random weird. One was just a random noble. Did the bald man? Did he seem to know the other one?
Yes, they seemed to know each other. I think I don't know if they came in together exactly that night, but they at least ended up at the table with Emery and I, or sorry, with Leibold.
So could you describe the first guy that's not the bald one?
Yes, he was sandy hair, spectacles, light short beard.
Wait, sorry. Sandy hair, spectacles,
short beard, and like he's kind of like tall and wiry. Looked like a clerk or a merchant or something. He had a very penetrating gaze about him.
Okay. Oh, dang, I was about to ask him something. So they looked like they were together. So at this point, is he sitting down?
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting down with a group of people?
He's like one other person, but that person, I honestly at this point has he's saw like a serene maid that he liked and he wandered off.
Is there a chair next to?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I mean, I'm gonna sit down next to him. As like, who is he? Sit down next to him, get close. Say, this man you speak of, this Desiree Gilson, seems to be the man that killed your cousin. From what I'm hearing from, actually, wait, are both of them his cousin?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I mean, no. Him and
Emery, Quentin, and Leibold are all cousins of each other.
No, that's not what I meant. The first guy, the first guy.
Oh, Maxence Bechard.
Yeah.
So say what you said
Maxence
again.
Isn't related to him. Maxence isn't related to this guy, is he? Okay. So this man, Desiree Gilson, you speak of, seems to be the man that killed Lord Quentin. Someone described a bald man with no facial hair bringing him a glass of poisoned wine.
Interesting. Do you think that the man might have poisoned the wine that he was giving to my cousin? Maybe it was some sort of slow acting thing, and when he tried to swim, he seized up and drowned?
Was that something that happened to the other guy? I don't think
No.
That doesn't sound. I mean, it's impossible to tell, given how long it's been. How long has it been
Like
at this
2
point?
weeks,
A few
yeah.
weeks. It's been a few weeks at this point, so it's impossible to really tell for sure. At this point, I believe just about anything. But it's not. It's not. I would say, but it's definitely a possibility, from the sounds of it. He's.
Well, do you think that I'm in danger?
Yeah.
He's killing my cousins one by one.
Wait, give me a second. I was like, has he been known to swim before? I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
As for your own safety, I was like, I honestly don't know. I don't know who's safe and who's not. There doesn't seem to be the only.
Well, then, Mr. Tisby, I
Wait, no, sorry, the only real connection I see between these two seems to be inheritance. So as long as you're not about to inherit anything, or go about like your cousin boasting about said inheritance, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But
no, I think the only thing I'm set to inherit is a load of debt from my father, gambler.
So that kind of struggle, like, you might be fine then. People seem to be wanting more than debt. If you see this, you know anything more about this Desiree? Just what you said already?
I believe he said, I don't know, something about his son? I'm trying to remember. I was a little drunk. He said something about a son, something about his son or his friend's second son. I don't remember.
Okay. If you see him again, please let me know. I am staying at the opera house. I forget the name of it.
The Harmony Opera House, yeah.
Harmony Opera House.
Yeah, he nods and he says, well, I hope for both of our sakes that you don't find another dead Bouveau. But it does sound like I'm safe. If it's just all about inheritance, I'm not rich at all, so.
For your sake, I hope everyone is safe after this, but... I hope everyone is safe after this, to be frankly honest.
Yeah.
But until we find this Desiree and whoever this other person might be, I don't know. If honestly, if you see either of them, please let me.
Oh, of course, I will come to you right away and demand that you protect me.
I'm glad.
Thank you for the warning, Mr. Tisby. Mm-hmm. You're not so bad for a commoner.
One thing is for sure. I would say is like one thing is also for sure. And kind of, is he drinking anything?
Yeah.
Say one thing is also for sure. Kind of tip my head towards his drinks, like careful of any wine you may drink.
He looks down. He's like, "Well, this is ale, so at least there's that."
And say thank you for your time, and I'll kind of make my way out.
Of course, Mr. Tisby. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, that was helpful. Yeah. I would at that point go back to Crozier.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in his office.
That's the right name.
Something.
Yeah. So is he there when I
Yeah,
go back?
He's in there scribbling on something in his office.
Bertrand.
Tisby. Any news?
You could say that, I guess. Well, I have a name for our balding fellow. I've kind of told him though the bald. No,
I think so.
Name,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's been assumed that you've been updating him on anything you've learned.
I found a name for our balding fellow. A Sir Mr. Desiree Gilson. Ring a bell?
Desiree Gilson. No, I don't believe that rings any bells. And I'm gonna make a falsehood roll for him.
I was wondering.
He doesn't have any other relevant skill.
I have a feeling he's lied to me before and got away with it.
He has. I've rolled secretly for a couple of things.
I mean, I think it's clear who a murderer is now. Or at least involved in it.
It was me, I know.
What's your will?
Sorry,
what's
guys.
Your will, Marco?
4.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so.
Dang it. The fact that I'm suspicious of him doesn't help at all.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well. He also has a sandy-haired, spectacled friend. Possibly a clerk or a merchant.
Interesting. Maybe a rival of some sort? Maybe if that man is a merchant, maybe he disliked the popularity that Maxence and I were gaining from the Harmony Opera House. Yes, maybe a rival set all this up. I'm not sure what it has to do with Quentin Bouveau, though.
I have a doubt this has anything to do with rivalry. The only thing that seems to be connecting these two is inheritance.
Interesting. Inheritance, you say?
Mm-hmm.
And who is doing the inheriting?
That's where it's going to get interesting. Well, I gotta say, after talking to the steward of Lord Quentin Bouveau's manor, it seems you seem to be doing a lot of inheriting from both of these.
Have I? Well, I got everything from Maxence, of course. He didn't really have many relations. But you're telling me that I'm inheriting something from Quentin. Didn't he have a cousin that should have inherited?
He happened to have mysteriously died a few weeks ago. Similar to what I think, actually, did something similar happen with the other guy too? Like, didn't someone die from him as well? That was supposed to inherit it, that he ended up inheriting instead?
Oh, with Maxence?
No, yeah, it did. No, or am I thinking of the fact that there was a witness that just saw a worker that just happened to be absent? Was it both?
So, wait, say it again.
I think it was that Maxence had died, which had passed the inheritance on to
Claber.
So there wasn't
Frederick.
someone that Maxence was supposed to inherit to that had passed away.
No. Okay,
I think I'm just confusing it with the fact that there was someone who was supposed to be working in both cases that ended up.
Yeah.
Okay. And so anyway, see. What was the last thing that was said? I got distracted. I'm tired.
I think it was like.
I said you seem to be doing a lot of inheriting. He's like, oh yeah, am I inheriting something from this guy?
Didn't he have a cousin? And he mysteriously died.
He mysteriously died a few weeks ago. Seems you're inheriting the entire estate. It was in the entire estate.
Yeah, he says. That is interesting. Marco, do you think someone could be framing me for the murder of Maxence Bechard?
I don't see why would they have reason to do so?
I don't know. Get away with murdering him? If this Quentin fellow happens to mysteriously give an inheritance from me, well, then I've inherited from three mysterious deaths, it turns out. That just looks a little suspicious, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of suspicion going on.
Marco, you don't think.
I don't know what to think. All I know is I'm following the leads I have.
Well, follow away. I can assure you they're not going to lead to me.
I really wish he'd roll worse on that.
By all rights and purposes, he shouldn't have succeeded on that.
Well, I don't know what else to do. Stabbing him's not a good idea.
I mean, yeah, you just get justice right now. You could intimidate him. You could like try to torture information out of him. You could escalate this.
That would make things worse.
Yeah, it
for
would.
me. It sounds fun, but no. Okay, well, I don't know. I can't really do anything else without having a conversation with someone else, and I don't have a good reason to do that right now.
Mhm.
I'm also tired.
Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah, we can just leave it on that, right? Like,
Mhm.
I will follow the evidence wherever it leads, sort of a situation. Yeah. Awesome. Well, there you go. The plot thickens here on Lavender Shadows. Let's do beliefs and instincts and get you guys some Artha. Margot Tisby.
Let's see. So for beliefs and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
go ahead and read off your beliefs and we'll see.
So I did. I can find the killer. I will find justice. I am definitely working on that. I haven't done it yet.
You have not found justice yet, but you're working on it, so you can take a fate for that.
I can find a better life. I will bring my family out of poverty. I'll prove I'm the right man for the job. I kind of worked on that. I will invest. I didn't really investigate Kleber today, but
it
now
seems like the
that
investigation is moving away from him. Yeah.
Yeah. As for instincts, I always have a knife on me. Almost became relevant. I always make sure I know who's in the room. Was that red cape guy? He was what's his face, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't. Part of me was like curious about doing something with that, but given what I know, he wouldn't have talked. He wouldn't have talked to me anyway.
Yeah, he would have been infuriated.
Not until he gets to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always make sure I know who's in the room. Wasn't relevant, really.
Yeah. Didn't get you into trouble or complicate the story at all.
No, I was contemplating bringing that up in the when all the servants were around, but it didn't really end up being relevant. And I never needed an alibi.
Not until you get framed for the murder of Maxence Bechard.
No. Do the traits matter? I don't remember.
Yeah, they could give you fate if they come up.
Rabble rouser, no. Shrewd, kind of.
Is this like if it moves the story in an interesting direction, complicates it somehow, gets you into trouble?
Wait, what's shrewd? I'm trying to think of what shrewd is.
Good judgment
in this game. Good judgment. Maybe just like convincing the one guy to talk to me. Like saying like, hey, it's within your best interest to tell me what you knew about.
Right, but that was like just the persuasion roll, right? Like your
shrewdness
shrewdness
doesn't
didn't
really
necessarily
work,
change the story at all. Oh yeah.
The only thing I can think of that
I forgot you have that trait.
Yeah, I have it. The only other thing I can think of is the fact that cold-blooded came up when I was looking at the guy's body, but it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, so I think you just got 2 fate for beliefs and instincts and all that stuff. This time, Marguerite LeBlanc.
Wow. Okay. I'm important. Who is this Xanatos to think otherwise? I feel like kind of did that one, and now I have to kind of move on to other Xanatos related goals because he never actually thought I wasn't important. It was just like
goal, right? How do you accomplish who is this Xanatos to think otherwise? Proving to Xanatos that you're important?
Yeah, kind of like talking to him. We talked about this at the end of last time, and I thought we had like talked about just wanting to like show that I'm more than whatever he thought I was in the first place.
That in any way?
What did I roll with him?
He found him.
Yeah, I was able to find him, and he seemed like he was impressed with that.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you a persona for that, like.
Because he was like, "Oh, like you're here. That's surprising."
Yeah, and then he ended up having the conversation with you and being like, "Listen, it's not that I don't think you're important. It's that I don't know yet." Yeah, okay, I'm fine with giving you a persona there.
And then number 2, learning to better understand Isabeau. I tried to better parent her.
Yeah, so fate.
Didn't do anything with Benedicta this time. Instincts, trying to flirt my way out of problems.
I'm gonna give you a fate point for that one, just because
Kind of.
you kind of stalled there with Xanatos, and you didn't have a lot of angles
Yeah.
to do with him. So yeah.
And then if anyone tries to ask about my personal life, I try to deflect or change the
Got
subject.
that last time. We only saw the fallout of
Yeah.
the Darcy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Don't think any of the other ones came into play.
no.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's, what was it? 2 fate and 1 persona.
Mhm.
Joe.
I found a way for the magic to be used.
Mhm. You did indeed. So persona.
Yay. I'm still working on teaching Vivian. Gotta get those days.
Yeah.
It just takes so long.
Yep.
And then the magic must be used. I will convince Jocelyn to assist me.
And you did. Persona.
Yay. I don't think I did anything else though. Nothing with my instincts. Although instinct 1 will probably come up next session.
Mhm.
I think that was it.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Cool. Awesome. And Vivian,
I believe someone can love me. I will find them and return the favor.
you're working on it.
Still working on that.
So
I
fate.
believe I owe Joe much. I will heed her advice. I don't think I did anything towards
I
that.
mean, you stood up for yourself.
I mean, true. I'll
Yeah,
take that.
you can take fate for
I believe Matthias and I belong together. I will get my father to recognize the danger the Kleber rumor could bring
You
to the
did
August
it.
house.
Persona.
You did it in an unbelievable fashion.
I'm gonna give you a fate for always be kind, even in the face of disrespect, because it pushes it. The way Vivian continues to push the story in an interesting direction. Because like another person could have like brute forced their way into these situations, but you've done it in such a like careful, quiet way that it's interesting to watch. So, and I think that's it. But we'll look real quick at the extra Arthur stuff. See if anyone got any of those. Humor. A fate point is earned if a player can stop the table dead with humor while in character. Any nominations for that?
I feel like this episode wasn't really very funny. It was very serious.
The funniest parts of the episode were when Marguerite and Xanatos were talking. But I'm trying to think of like either of them have a particularly...
I can't think of like a
specific
particular moment.
Yeah.
I mean, Emily's just always funny.
It's
Like,
very
let's be
true,
real.
yeah.
So
Stop.
I mean, I'm fine if we nominate both Marguerite and Xanatos for like a fate point for that. It's like only a fate point. It was
Sure,
an amusing
it's fine.
conversation to me. So
glad you can crack yourself
I
up.
know.
But then like
Well, no, just like also Marguerite's responses. Like it was fun. Right skill, right time.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn Marquand definitely got that
Yeah.
one. Very true.
Right skills, right time. All 11 of them.
Exactly. So she's gonna get another fate point there. Let's see. Anyone else have a good perfect skill? Don't think so.
I certainly did not this time at all.
Embodiment. When a player captures the mood of the table perfectly and further drives the story onward, 1 persona point is awarded. Desperate decisions, gruesome revenge, those sorts of things. I think we're leading up to a lot of those moments, but I don't think any of them happened this session. And if at all, it was Vicomte Bastiat Auguste that earned one.
Right. Yeah.
And not Vivian.
Look, if he gets a persona, can he just not die then?
If he spends the persona, yeah.
There we go. He's gonna
that's
survive.
Like, the first time he takes a turn
Good
for the
role
worst, he
playing.
can spend the persona, and then the second time he takes a turn for the worst, he's gonna die.
He's just gonna have really good moments again.
Mold breaker. If a player comes to a point in the story where his beliefs, instincts, and traits conflict with the decision he must make, a direction in which he must go, and he plays out the inner turmoil, the conflict within his own guts in a believable and engaging manner, then he earns a persona point. Any nominations there?
It hasn't happened quite yet, but I feel like Marco's getting
Marco's
there.
gonna get there. He's gonna have to make some decisions here as he follows this line of evidence. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Awesome stuff, guys. Good episode. Fun coming back to Lavender Shadows. There we go. That's it from us here. We're out. Bye.